Welcome to Josh and Aaron Talk About Stuff. I'm your illustrious, awesome host with my bumbling sidekick, Aaron. Kidding.
Oh, wow. I
Kidding.
mean, just because it's true.
Hey,
Bumbling
man,
sidekick.
how can the truth hurt if you know it's the truth?
Right? Yeah, I know. Are you Sherlock and I'm Watson or something here?
Right. Um, Forgive Aaron if he has to dab his forehead since,
Yeah, right? Aaron lives in the Pacific Northwest, if you're not aware, and
which
we are in the
generally
middle.
means it's mild weather, but now it's
We're in the
like,
middle of like the biggest heat wave we've ever had. Like, I mean, it's supposed to hit 110 in my town today, where we normally this time of year we're sitting at 85. So yeah,
climate change could be having effect up there, maybe.
no, no, no.
Maybe. Over the course of the next 50 years, you'll have to get central AC up
I
there.
may have to get central AC. Yeah, I mean, like we were talking about before we started, like nobody has central AC up here, or
Right.
very few people. So
All right, so this is the am I saying?
penultimate,
I was going to say that, yeah, the penultimate
the penultimate
episode
episode
of
of the season.
season 2.
Right.
And today we're going to be talking about the prison system and the death penalty in America. All right, let me throw just some facts at you really quick.
Okay.
I don't have the exact number, but I do know that the United States has the highest incarceration rate per 100,000
That's a shock.
in the world,
Right.
and the United States has the highest number of people in prison
That doesn't surprise me.
at over 2 million.
Good Lord.
All right.
That's ridiculous.
So I'm gonna also throw some. It's not really a fact, but throw some two things out there that we'll incorporate into
Yeah.
the 13th Amendment to the United States.
Okay.
Slavery nor involuntary servitude shall be, basically allowed, except as a punishment for a crime.
Punishment for a crime.
That's how they get you right there. That exception. But really, we're against slavery and involuntary servitude. But if you commit a crime, by God, we'll throw you back in.
We catch you with 2 grams of weed on you, you're screwed.
The other amendment I wanted to bring up, because it will be, related to what we're talking about, is the 8th Amendment, having to do with cruel and unusual punishment.
Cruel and unusual punishment.
All right, so prison system. Have at it.
I mean, I kind of immediately threw in my snarky little remark there right at the beginning, right?
Right.
I mean, seriously, God forbid you have a gram of weed on you, because we're going to lock you up. I mean, look, we obviously need a prison system. We have to have some form of there are people out there that you don't want wandering around in society. It gets to a point, right? But we have to kind of,
the safety of others,
for the safety of others, exactly. I mean, it's not like prison system is an unusual thing. It's been a part of every culture that there is for the beginning of, since the very essence of the beginning of societies forming up. We need something. There are people out there that for one reason or another you just don't want hanging around with everybody else, and that has to do usually with the safety of others. But like, we do have to reassess our prison system. Good God, why is some poor guy that's 25 years old who got caught with like a baggie of weed sitting in prison for the next 10 years? That's asinine.
Right.
That's just stupid. We've got to start and yeah, a lot of places are reevaluating that, but there's still people sitting in prison right now that shouldn't be sitting in prison, because what they did is not, this is, and then there are places that have like the 3 strike rule, where like you get hit for 3 minor little things and all of a sudden you're in prison for, I think it's like life. Like, you can get hit, you can get dinged for like 3 little things, but then you're in prison now for the next 25 years. And it's just damn foolish.
That's just one of those.
Our whole prison system is just jacked up. That's not even the prison system. That's our legal system, but they're all intertwined.
Well, yeah. So like the legal system, as far as like how much time you get for a specific crime, varies.
Mm-hmm.
State to state, and it varies for, I'm sorry, bro, what color you are.
It really does. Let's face it, it does.
And then in prison, look, if you don't, it's a human nature is just mind-boggling, right?
Right, yeah.
Because if you are pro-humanity in the sense that people should probably serve prison time for crimes, right?
Right, yeah.
Exactly. How do you treat them when they're in there?
Yeah, we completely need to like get more. It's like we have this mentality of like, what is it? It's the big thing, and it's rehabilitation. We have to start like working with these people.
Well, if you believe rehabilitation is a thing, then you can't. You have to change the way that prisoners are treated, because
absolutely,
when they get out of prison, it's like, good luck, bro. Here's your bus ticket.
Right.
You're probably
one of my favorite movies of all time was, is The Shawshank Redemption, and I mean, and they talk like,
love it. Love it.
I watched
it 400 times, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever met somebody. If you ever meet someone and you're telling them, "Oh man, I love The Shawshank Redemption," I'm like, I don't get it. You're like, you have no soul.
Like, did you really watch it?
Yeah, but I mean, like they talk about that, being institutionalized, in that film, and guys get out of prison, they just don't know how to function outside the walls. And that's a real thing,
right? And then it's like, how do people that are outside? How do you react to someone who's been inside? You want to be. Most people are like, oh God, I don't want anything.
Yeah. We have to kind of change the cultural idea.
It's hard,
but that's a hard thing. You can't changing the outside. Changing the people on the outside. The heck with that. But how we have to address these individuals inside.
I'm not saying that.
Question.
Yeah, I'm not saying that murderers can't be rehabilitated, but that's like the hardest sell.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Somebody who's committed some sort of violent felony.
Right. So like,
but that's we've gotten to this point in our culture, in regards to everything, where there's this notion. I mean, you think about just people being assaulted on Twitter for things that they've done in their past. It's this idea that it's like that people are so unwilling to let go of past sins in our culture. And I think all cultures are just so
redemption is not a thing, apparently.
Yeah, it's like the idea of redemption and forgiveness is, it's like, once you've done this bad thing, we're going to hold it over your head forever. And like, God forbid you actually say, hey, look, I know I messed up, but I've kind of changed. The fact is, you don't want, God forbid there was someone watching each and every one of our every moves, because we all do things that you're glad you're like, man, I'm glad nobody saw that, because that was stupid.
Was Jesus a fan of forgiveness?
No, that wasn't his jam.
All I'm saying, I'm not going to say any more about it, but
no, absolutely.
If you're
right,
hey man, Jesus was a cool dude, and I've said it before. That guy was cool. I don't necessarily know if he.
I'm sorry, it's just funny.
And was like,
yeah,
he still believed in, but like, hey man, he let's help the poor. Let's feed.
Homie was the original hippie. People. Let's face it.
All right, anyway.
All right, anyway.
Like, so within the prison system, there's two things that are issues, right? So let's solitary confinement.
Right.
This, which I think is different. I'm kind of like making a distinction between like solitary confinement in the sense of you go into the hole,
right,
versus a guy that's got to be locked up. Yeah. I'm not talking about the guy that's got to be locked up 23 hours a day, which is a whole another, because if he's out there, he either murders somebody else or somebody will murder him.
Right. Yeah.
You only get that hour a day out of your cell. So I'm talking about solitary confinement, where like they throw you away for X amount of time, bread and water, that's it, and you're no light, screws with your head. You come out of that, you're already messed up, man.
I mean, I don't know how much,
right.
and forgive me, I don't know how much they use that anymore.
Like, and if they did, they're not going to tell us.
No, that's very true.
I
mean, they definitely do still use solitary confinement for those individuals, like you mentioned, like those that were like they killed somebody and they're going to kill somebody else if they let them out into the yard,
right. Or
they killed somebody and when they go out into the yard, somebody's going to kill them. I mean, yeah, that's still used, and it probably is one of those things that's essential, unfortunately.
Like, I think for the one of the terms is called like the SHU, the special housing unit, where you keep people like that. But like, right. I remember growing up, and until you get for most of your life, you're just constantly berated with societal shit, right?
Right, yeah.
You commit a crime, you go to prison, and then you hear like at some point in your life that they had a TV in their cell. What? A TV? Who should be, or they get to buy stuff from a commissary, like they're still human beings now,
right?
And you also have to constantly battle this socialization that you've grown up with, like. Man, somebody that's in prison for 20 years shouldn't get anything, right? But then you're like, okay, well, eventually their term is going to come up and be over
their price, right?
And then they come into society. And if
as
they've
it
been,
were.
yeah, and if they've been isolated for 20 years, how are they going to react? They're going to be really screwed up, you know?
Right. Which brings us to the other topic of conversation for the day.
Real quick though, I have
Go
to,
do it. Yeah, no, you're fine.
sorry, Marco Rubio. I'm not a fan of you, but he just tweeted out, or him or Tom Cotton, one of them idiot senators tweeted out, about we got to like put more money into the prison systems, right, to house these people and because eventually we're going to rehabilitate them. But like someone commented back, it's let's not stop investing in prisons and start investing more in humans.
Right. Which is why, I mean, like everybody got all up in arms this last election cycle. Like Oregon made big news, right? Because Oregon made drugs legal, right? That was the big deal, right? Oregon made drugs legal. Oregon didn't make drugs legal. Oregon decriminalized holding on to a little bitty portion of drugs. So if you get busted with a half a gram of crack cocaine on you or whatever, not something that you're going to sell, but something that you're going to use personally, it gets confiscated. You get fined, but you don't go to jail.
Right.
And you get the opportunity that the fine money goes to fund rehabilitation projects. And at some point, the individuals who get busted, they don't go to prison, they go into rehab facilities. Right. I mean, isn't this what as a society we've said we want to happen?
Right, and on that note, so then prescription drugs are way worse for you than marijuana.
Absolutely.
And doctors don't care about prescribing that crap. Anyway.
Oh man, they'll give anybody anything, man.
The last thing I was
all you gotta do is watch the side effect commercials. Side effects may include
a million different things, yeah. But
your eyes may bleed, your ears may
right. Like, your eyebrows are gonna fall out, all kinds of craziness, right?
You may lose all your hair.
Right, like, but it could work.
Your rheumatism will feel better.
Right. I know you've heard the speech before, but the sound clip of Ronald Reagan talking about we can't blame society. It's not society's fault when an individual creates, does a heinous act like murder. We shouldn't punish society. I'm sure you've heard it.
He's talking probably heard it, but it's not ringing a bell.
You're letting me down here, man. I'm
sorry.
Anyway, but he's talking about, like this. We can't blame society, because an individual murdered somebody. It's not society's fault when people do bad things. And like, I think at this point in our society today, we're actually reassessing that rugged individualism,
Right.
It is, society can screw people up.
Yeah.
Because of these mores that we have and these like do's and don'ts. It's just like, and we never really address the root problem. If a kid grows up and
poor
and he's beaten his whole life,
the kid's gonna have
it messes with your brain.
Yeah, absolutely.
But people think that that brain science is liberal hippie stuff.
Heck that brain science, we don't need it.
Anyway, all right, so
that's what I told my kid when he told me my major in psych. I'm like, whatever, that's brain science. We don't need it.
Okay, so I guess moving back to a legal thing that we have, because the prison just does it because they're allowed, but the death penalty, right?
Yeah, right.
Is one of those. It's one of those like.
That is one of the hardest issues for me, man.
Right.
I just, it's, I admit I'm more than you. I am a shades of gray kind of person. I mean, I am. I'm kind of but this is perhaps one of the issues that I am most shades of gray on. Like, it's really a hard issue for me because there's a part of me that really thinks the idea of this whole eye for an eye, it's basically an eye for an eye is what it is, right? It's that classic mentality. You killed somebody, so we have to kill you sort of thing. I have a real issue with that. But at the same time, you hear about these people that just commit these complete atrocities, and obviously they should never see the light of day again because they're not going to do it. There are people out there. There are people simply, Josh, that are just their brains are just, and they're just going to do it again, right?
What is they are, that, right? Is it nature or nurture?
Yeah, well, that's a whole other discussion, right? I mean, that's a whole other discussion. Is it nature or nurture? Who knows? But the fact is, there are people that are so broken, right? And it's unfortunate. It's like they have to be. They've committed these atrocities. We can't let them be in the public again, and the immediate react. And it's like, we could lock them up for the rest of their life. or do we just remove them? And it's an issue I have a really hard time knowing which side of the fence I'm on, because I don't know what side of the fence I'm on. I really don't. I just don't.
Yeah. I think, like, right or wrong, I think the death penalty is kind of like state sanctioned murder.
I mean, it feels that way, right?
Where eye for an eyeing you. But I mean, like, a lot of people that commit murder don't get the death penalty.
No, it's very true. It's not used a lot. That's the thing of it.
Right.
It's
starting to come back. It's starting to make it come back.
It is starting to come back. But is it starting to come back, though, because we're wanting it to come back? Or is it because we've had, like, this rash of just insanity lately, it feels like, in our society, with mass shootings and people just committing these really ungodly acts that the judges are left to hand down a punishment? And it's like, you know, you walked into a club with a gun and opened fire and, you know, wounded 50 people and killed 10 more. I mean,
here's my thing, though. If you're gonna, if this is me overreacting a little bit, but you know what? If you're gonna have the death penalty and it's on camera and it's proved 100% that the dude did it, don't wait 15 years to do it. Just do it right there, like Judge Dredd.
That's a whole
Judge Dredd execution right there. Just Judge Dredd him right there.
Judge Dredd him right there.
But, like,
otherwise, gives the judges the power.
Yeah, man. Like,
old dude's sitting there in his robe, and he's like,
"You've been judged.
You've been judged." Taps the hammer.
No. Do Sylvester Stallone's voice. He's judged.
Yeah, you've been judged. I can't do Stallone. I've never really tried to.
That kind of sounded like Arnold too.
That was more of an Arnold. Yeah, he taps the hammer, stands up, and pulls the gun. It's like, dang, man, we going there now.
Like, it's weird. Like, I think in South Carolina they pass it to where you can choose whether you want the firing squad or the lethal injection. How you gonna make you choose?
So how you want to die today, homie? Like, God, I don't know.
Like, I think
it's crazy that
I personally have a hard time understanding if you're a Christian or any person of faith, how are you okay with this punishment when you're supposed to forgive enemies and all that crap?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of loopholes in the Bible.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's something that says it's okay, but, like,
I'm sure there is.
Like, come on, man. Like,
no, but I mean, do you see what I'm saying though? Like, it's a hard one, right? It's like, no, I mean, I get it, because it does feel like state sanctioned murder, and that's the issue I have with it. You know, I do. It's like we're basically saying, you know, you killed somebody, but it's okay for us to do it to you because you did it first, and the government says we can. And it's like, that's kind of messed up.
Like, these people that are, like, no good to society.
Yeah. And
nothing can be done with them. Yet, tax-paying dollars. I know where people are coming from. Tax-paying dollars keeps them alive and fed for. You could live 30, 40 more years if you commit. You know, like.
Although, admittedly, the appeals process of the death penalty, and this goes back to what you were saying, like, is actually more expensive. Like, it actually costs more I think I remember reading, to put someone to death than it does to keep them in prison for their life, because of the appeals process and how lengthy it is. Which goes back to what you're saying then about the about the death penalty and the appeals process that goes along with it.
Right, but if you're going to sentence the death penalty, you better be damn sure, because there have been a lot of people who have been proven innocent after the fact, after they've been put to death, plus while they have been on death row, because there's this. Yeah.
It needs to be if you're gonna have it, it needs to be reserved for, like, there's no doubt, like, there can be zero doubt.
Right. And here's the thing, and that goes with, people just need to do better. Like, if you're a prosecutor, I don't do shady shit to get the case convicted, because the Central Park 5. Back in the late 80s, that woman went into the case. They're guilty. So everything she did revolved around, they're guilty, and I'm going to prove it. Not, I have to assume they're innocent. Let's just see how the case plays out, right? Like, you cannot go in. The prosecutor has to go in thinking they're innocent and, like, just do the facts. Because they're accused of this, so let's just see how the facts laid out. Not, they're accused of this, I believe it, just because of the way you look. Because that's a lot of things that people do. Just by looking at somebody, you think they're guilty. So, like,
And what we've really hit upon this whole entire time now is the fact that our justice system is broken.
Well, it's different.
Like everything else in this country. Why is everything so broken lately?
Because humans are the problem.
We're broken.
Isn't that?
We are. We're kind of broken.
And a lot of crap that comes into it is people's upbringing and religious backgrounds,
their biases, their personal
biases. Justice is not objective, and justice ain't blind.
Right. No, that's for darn sure. Right.
There should be one standard for everybody.
Yeah.
But see that's the thing though. Is go ahead.
I was just saying, you've said it a couple of times now. Different states, different. No, that needs to be done. No more different states, different rules.
Right.
There needs to be a universal understanding of what our country says. This is right. This is not. This is what is. This is what.
Right. Like manslaughter means.
And that's socialism.
Every state,
Doggone it. That's socialistic.
You can't tell me murder in Connecticut is not any different than murder in Utah. But yet
that's a Utah murder. It's different.
Or it's the standard is different.
Right.
It's just so I know there's a matrix, there should be.
I'm pretty sure we're in it.
Yeah, this crime is this punishment, and this judge's discretion, that's subjective. If you want real justice to be objective, then we have to vote on
what is what,
right? But that would require our representatives and senators to take the sticks out of their ass and actually do a job.
What? No, forget it. Not happening.
What?
Literally, it's not happening.
Right, and they I don't know, but prison systems, that's the thing, though, man. They'll always get their money.
Absolutely.
Because we love throwing people in jail because it's a money making business.
Throw them in the joint.
Right.
Yep.
And it's what you would think that at this point in life, with actually being able to see everything on TV and on your phone, stop committing crimes. I know it's one of those stupid cliche things, but that's for a white dude to say stop committing crime and you won't have to do the time, but sometimes it's not that easy because a dude could steal bread to his feeding starving little brother or sister, throw him away for life. There's no compassion anymore. And straight up murder, you seek somebody out premeditatedly, I'm most likely okay with the death penalty on that one. Right. But in the heat of the moment, crime of passion kind of thing, it just happens because humans are flawed.
Yeah.
Maybe not murder. Yeah. But if you murder a child, probably. It sucks, right? 17 down if you get murdered by an adult because because innocence, we're supposed to protect that. But then that gets into the abortion. Well, you're murdering babies there. It's a slippery slope, man. You can't please everybody all the time, right?
Right. Which is a good thing that let's face it, we do this because this is a good way for us to rant out these thoughts and come back around to it in the end and go, I have no idea.
And the thing about the music stuff that we talked about last season, I'm pretty much sold on. You can't really change my mind about my music. But with this social stuff, I have my ideas, but I can be convinced or persuaded with other arguments. Well, maybe I should think this way. But there's a lot of people out there who just will not listen to a different argument.
No.
And
they've got their viewpoint, and that viewpoint is theirs, and it is all that matters.
Because I could be convinced with a lot of stuff to change my mind on something. There's some stuff that I might, just because I look young, but I'm 40 this year, so I've lived a life long enough.
What the heck, dude? You're old,
but I don't look old. That's the thing, though. Even though I do have a lot of gray. Yeah, you're looking old. I'm kidding.
I'm looking old, man. I got it's because I'm gray.
I just the death penalty is just it's that. It's that one topic that's in the people that are 100% for it. I'm maybe you should it makes me think different.
Or the people that are 100% against it.
Right.
It's such a complicated issue, I guess, is the point.
But I mean, what are we going to get to? Which we have in society got to that point. Can you imagine being in the Colosseum in Rome and seeing people murdered in front of you, basically? What are we going to get? What's it going to turn into? On TV, everybody tunes in to watch all these executions.
I think that's the premise of a book I've read before.
And I don't know how true it is because a lot of things have been romanticized and exaggerated from times past. But medieval Europe, where they're they all go to the hanging. But we did it in America. We all go to the hanging.
I think it's what people really did. You went to the thing and watched the thing, you know. And because
did that change people? Like they watched the hanging, or were they just like so indifferent because of the?
I just think it was probably just an essence of the society at the time.
The only thing I don't agree with that happened, like you see it in like, you know, like in Braveheart and stuff or whatever, they're throwing food at them. You're gonna tell me these starving peasants who have lived miserable lives their whole life are gonna give up food to throw at people? I don't think that ever happened. Right? It's one of those like, or they like in Robin Hood with the Kevin Costner.
Yeah, right.
Just throwing food at them. Like, I don't think they would give up their food. Sorry,
that didn't happen. That didn't happen.
If there's a historian or anybody that hears this episode and
if you want to prove us different, okay.
Show me the evidence that it happened, because I just don't think starving people would give up food that easily. All right, so
justice system needs to be fixed.
So to kind of bring it back to the beginning, the Eighth Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment. Solitary confinement, is it cruel and unusual? You know, death penalty, could that be cruel? It might not be unusual since we've done it, but like.
Yeah. Well, I think with that they come into it's more the method by which it's done. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the execution has just been a part of. It's been a part of human society. Like you just mentioned, it's been a part of human society since the very beginning of human society. Someone is deemed they can't be around anymore, and so the society purges themselves of the person.
How do you think the guy felt that was the chopper of the head off of the guy? That was his one job in life.
Right.
What do you think? Like, do you think
Don't mess up, man. Don't mess up.
Because they get replaced or what?
I don't know.
But do you think that guy like hated
went home and thought about it? Yeah, I don't know.
Or
how's today, honey? I whacked off 3 heads.
Did they provide him with a lot of?
I'm sure there were incentives.
Incentives, you know, like keep
for
doing
being
this.
The head lopper guy. But I mean, is it cruel and unusual? I mean, I guess by our standards, if you think about it, killing someone is rather cruel. But I mean, it's just a part of what our culture has, all cultures have done.
Humans, man.
And I know humanity, man. What are you going to do? So
we're a virus. The Matrix was right. We're a virus.
So it becomes more method of it is the method of the execution cruel and unusual, and which is why we don't.
I thought the electric chair has always been a little cruel.
Right, which is why, again, that's why they don't use certain types of execution methods anymore. Because they were dubbed cruel.
I mean, eventually we're gonna be this crazy, ultra religious culture, but we're okay with murdering people. You know, like they will bring them back, boiling them alive, and putting them in
tar and feather, and then burn them at the stake.
Jesus, oh yeah,
she's a witch.
If she floats, she's a witch. If she drowns, she was a witch. But then, if she floats, she's a witch.
And if she drowns, she wasn't. A witch. If she drowns, she wasn't. Yeah. It's like, guess she wasn't a witch. Oops.
Which, I know. I just we were founded on Christian principles and religious freedom to burn people at the stake if we felt like it. Salem witch trials. People, look it up. All right. So I think we've talked it out. We
beat this horse.
It's just a funny one. I'm not 100% on it. I'm not 100% against it. I think I gave you my little scale. Children, yes. And
right now.
Premeditated, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think you should get the death penalty for being a drug offender or anything like that.
God, no. I don't think they use it for that.
Really just murder, right?
Yeah, it's used. As best I know, it's really just used for the most just horrific murders. That's really where it gets used.
Yeah, and what determines a horrific murder versus a normal murder?
I think, but again, like you were saying, I think premeditation, cruelty.
Well, like the act, I guess. If you've stabbed 472 times and then fondled the body, sure, but if it's just
that's just gross.
People do that, man. Have you ever?
I know.
Have you watched the Netflix show Mindhunter?
No, but I know people.
Well, there's a guy in there, and he did some crazy stuff, and he's still alive today. But I won't say his name. Just look it up. Anyway, all right. We just got to do better with humanity.
We got to do better
because economic hardships and everybody not on the playing field.
Yeah,
it sets people back.
Yeah,
a long way, and a lot of people just. And here's the thing, though, man. A lot of people are completely shielded from that stuff, that life, most of their life.
Yeah. Run
into it every so often. So they were like, why should my taxes go up? Because da-da-da. Anyway, we got to come together as a society if we're gonna. Because we're really just people living next to each other with some loose agreements. We don't really live as a society, as a whole nation anyway. There's
Hey, I'm not
enclaves.
gonna mess up your house. Don't mess up my house. I'll
Yeah,
sit
like
over here in my
raise
yard
your
and
children
play
to be good people.
right.
Just right and wrong. I mean, over the course of humanity, we've learned some things about right and wrong.
Yeah, to live
Yeah.
by.
So just like, and anyway, we can talk about how people are raised in America at another episode. But all right, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Our maybe our most controversial episode for last.
Oh boy.
Guess.
Oh boy.
But I'm not worried about talking about it. I got some things to say.
I don't doubt it.
All right, man. Good talking to
next
you
time.
about something. And thanks, guys, for watching. Subscribe, all that stuff. Share it around, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Mom. See you later.